Welcome to day 17 of my 30-day engagement. My name is Shawn Aaron, he, him, his. And today's question that was asked of me is, how are you coping amidst anti-trans legislation in your state? Thank you for this question. So the first thing I want to say is that I'm currently living in California. I've been born and raised here in the Bay Area, and so I've been living here all 44 years of my life. So my family migrated here from Vicksburg, Mississippi. And as I was growing up, the one thing my mom always told me was she would never step foot back in Mississippi. She couldn't wait to get out of Mississippi when she was a kid because it was just so racist and she hated it. So we've been here my whole life. My family is here. My chosen family is here. My birth family is here. And so, to answer about anti-trans legislation, so if you know, California is a blue state. And I know that some folks who aren't necessarily within the United States sometimes don't understand what the red states and blue states are. And I'm only saying that because folks have asked me before, of like, hey, what does that mean being in a blue state? So California is a blue state. So what that means is typically it's majority voted Democrat. And so with that, most states that are blue tend to be a bit more liberal versus some of the other states that are red and tend to be more conservative. And so first I want to say, and I'm going to be honest, I don't track all the anti-trans legislation. And the reason why I don't is because I need to protect my peace and I need to protect my mental health. And so I was talking with a trans guy from Germany. His name is Meik. And I remember when me and him hopped on a Zoom call, and the first question, you know how when you talk to someone, it's like, how are you doing? Okay, I'm doing fine. How are you? And I just ran off of a whole list of things of like, this bill is passing and this bill, and they're proposing this bill and this bill, and what about, the war in Gaza? And I was like saying all of these different things that was going on in the world, like what about the Congo, and like all these different things and issues. And I was just so bombarded worrying about all of these issues and legislations and wars. And not to say that none of those things are important, they're definitely important, but it was so much on the forefront of my brain that it was all that I could say and I could mention. And I remember Mike, he don't even know this. So Mike, if you're listening, you don't even know what the words that you said to me spoke volumes. And so I held on to that. But what he told me, he said, you know what, Shawn, you cannot worry about the problems of the world. It's just not healthy. And to me, that was it was kind of mind blowing because I was like, you know what? You absolutely right. And I know there are so many things going on right now in the world. It's chaotic, a chaotic place. We're living in a chaotic time. And I was like, you know what? You are right. I don't know if I told him specifically that if he was right or not, but Mike, if you're listening, you were right. And so that is one of the reasons why I don't follow each and every law, each and everything that's moving through legislation, because I try to protect my peace and I try to protect my mental health. And so that comes first. And so I don't research every little thing. I'm not, going through with a fine tooth comb and reading everything because I don't want to overwhelm my system and I don't want to become just so sad and depressed and feeling like I can't do anything about it. Right. And so I went to the ACLU website. And so I'll be sure to plug that in below. And so on their website, you can actually track anti LGBTQ bills across the country, right? And you can narrow it down to specific states. You can narrow it down nationally. And so on the website, states are color coded based on how many bills are being brought up within that state. So the bills per state. So it could be 0, it could be 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11, 15, and then 16 plus. And so I'm in California. And so California currently has, based on this website, only has 6 bills that are currently circulating right now. And so in comparison to other places, that's mild, right? And so, and some of the things are like school sports bans, healthcare barriers, and some other anti LGBTQ Q plus bills, right? And so I that is also one of the reasons why I feel like there's a privilege of being here, because I don't have to worry about some of the things that other folks are worrying about. And not to minimize some of the stressors and some of the things that folks are worrying about in their states, right? I'm not in Texas, I'm not in Florida. And so I really empathize with things that are going on in other places. And so two of the things that I have been focusing on, and I tried to think of it as like not worrying about it until it's right up on my doorstep, right? And not to say that I don't care about things that are going on within my community, because I know folks are dealing with these, and it's a barrier to our moving forward, right? Because we're so concerned about what's next, what's next, what's next. But it seems like every day I wake up, it's something that's next, right? And so it's like, if I stack all this up, if I pile all of this up into my mind, I won't be able to breathe. And so, and my therapist gonna be about sick of me, right? Because having to unpack all this every session, right? And so, just the two things that I've been kind of following a little bit is one of the things of laws in other states of them wanting to pass that trans identity is being is manipulative and is fraud. And that's one thing that I've been following. And another thing that I've been following is kind of like the things that's happening around passport issuing, right? And so I know my passport expires in 2 more years, and so I'm really a little bit anxious about that, because to me, I feel like if I'm not able to get my passport with the gender marker that fits me, that I feel like I'm being held hostage here, right? Because I'm not gonna travel with a passport that has an F versus an M, because depending on where you go, it's about safety, right? And so you want to be safe wherever you go. And so for me personally, I feel like you're holding me hostage here, because I'm limited to only staying here because I don't feel safe to go other places. And so those are the kind of like the two things that I've been kind of looking out for. And so I'll be sure to plug in the ACLU website, where you can go on there and you could track it. For folks who don't know, you could track based on your state, or you can track it based on your chosen family, where they live, or like your loved ones or significant others, and the anti LGBTQ plus legislation that's going on within that state. And so I want to hear from you. What are some anti-trans legislation that's coming up in your state that you want to talk about, that you want to let folks be aware about? And let's talk about it. Let's you know break down the nitty gritty, right? And so once, if you go on this website and then you say you see a bill, and you click on it, and it'll open up a pop-up window, and it'll show you everything that's within that bill. It'll talk about, was it defeated? Is it advancing? Did it pass? And so it kind of gives you access to kind of like knowing what's going on within your particular state. And so I think it's very important. But for me, how am I coping? I think one of the things that I really do is I lean on my therapist a lot. And so I encourage folks, if you don't have access to mental health services, find ways to take care of yourself and your mental health amongst all this stuff that's going on, right? Even if it's finding a self care practice that's for you, or maybe it might be putting your phone down and not looking at social media. Because I swear, every time I turn on my laptop, or I switch on the television, or like I open up a new browser window on my laptop, it's some news. I'm so sick of seeing like all this negative news. So I tend to have to unplug just to maintain my sanity and my mental health, right? And so I want that for you all as well, to please, 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 please take care of yourselves. Do not overwhelm yourself with a lot of information. We are living in the information age, where you can get information at the drop of a dime. You can find out something that's happening from here to Timbuktu, right? Like, you can literally Google anything, look up anything, YouTube, social media. Like, it's so many outlets to getting information, and we were not built to have so much access to information. Our minds and our bodies and our nervous systems just can't process all of that at one time. So I want folks to really just to take care of yourself, as best as you can, right? And that's easier said than done, but as best as you can, take care of yourself. Maybe if it's unplug for an hour, unplug for a day, unplug for the weekend, right? Not to bombard yourself with so much anti-trans legislation that is just driving us insane, right? And so I want to hear from you. Please share with me some anti-trans legislation that you want to share with folks, that you want folks to be aware of, to let them know what's happening. Was it defeated? Is it advancing? Is it something that we should be worried about nationwide? Please share, drop in the comments. I would love to hear from you. So once again, my name is Shawn Aaron, he, him, his, and this has been day 17 reflection of my 30-day reflection series. So please come back and join me tomorrow. If you've been rocking with me, if you've been loving my content, share with folks that you know that'll also benefit from some of the things that I've been talking about. And please engage with me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. So take care.